can hear us for a minute.
Doing our prep here. It's weird looking over to see an Alan. You see them on.
I know.
It's kind of weird. It's like, who's that guy over there?
Yeah, I forget
Hey,
he's doing
how about a future show on the health of firing a weapon? How you have to keep your shoulder, your hand, your elbow in shape?
You can do whatever you want.
We could bring you on for that one.
You'd have to consult us on that one.
That might be one that needs anti-Dr. Joe on.
That would be funny.
So what you do is you always keep one in the chamber, and don't worry about those holsters or nothing. You just put it in your waist, and you're good.
Stick it in your waist with your finger on the trigger.
Yep.
When you pull it out of your waist, always have your finger on the trigger. You got to be ready to go.
No one needs a safety.
I could see anti-Dr. Joe doing that too. He'd be hysterical.
All right. We got lots of Facebook viewers.
Hi, Facebook. Just getting ready to rock and roll here.
People coming on Instagram.
So you get the behind-the-scenes stuff when you tune in early like this.
I-75 southbound at Charles W. Grant Parkway, exit 239. It's in the 4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist Brad Vince with Atlanta's most accurate
4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist Brad Vince with Atlanta's most accurate
4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist Brad Vince with Atlanta's most accurate
4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist Brad Vince with Atlanta's most accurate
4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist Brad Vince with Atlanta's most accurate
4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist Brad Vince with Atlanta's most accurate
4 left lanes and your delays back towards Cleveland Avenue. Margo McKenna, WSB.
I'm Channel Action News meteorologist
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad we just spent a little time together, just having fun here before we went on the air. Ahmad is off today. He's got a well-deserved day off. And Alex, an amazing board option. I'm just over here and having a grand old time. So if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and YouTube, we live stream a lot of these shows. So sometimes you put the cameras on before we start doing that, and you get to see us have fun. Anyway, glad you're here. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and today we're going to talk about fake health foods. Because I see this all the time. Patients come in our offices and they say, Dr. Joe, I have a really good diet. I eat really well. And I look at their diet and I'm looking at them going, I consider this good? I go, what's wrong with it? I thought salads were good, and I thought smoothies were good. So we're going to talk about fake health foods. Now, salads are good. It depends on how you make them. So we'll discuss what makes something a good food and why you may be duped into thinking that it is a good food and it's not. And then, of course, we're going to give you options because we always give you options. So let's talk about some fake health foods. Let's start with salad. I think that's a good one to start with. People come in all the time and they're saying, Doc, I have a salad. And I said, great, what's in your salad? And they'll say, well, I have lettuce. And again, people get all freaked out if they're eating iceberg lettuce. Oh, Dr. Joe, iceberg lettuce is bad. Iceberg lettuce is not bad. It's not as good as some of the other lettuces or greens, but it's not bad. So it's not like it's going to make you sick. So they say, I'm going to have a salad. Okay. And then we talk about what's on the salad. So then maybe you're going to have a Caesar salad. I remember the first time I ever had a Caesar salad. I was dating this gal and we went out with her father, who's a gynecologist. I don't know why I remember that. And we went to a restaurant and they made the Caesar salad right at the table. Now, I was pretty young at the time and I'd never seen anything like this before. And they're mixing it up and the cheese and the raw egg and the anchovies. And I'm looking at this thing going, ew, this is disgusting. Now, that being said, I like Caesar salads. After I finally tasted it, it tasted great. But you look at a Caesar salad, small bowl, tiny little bowl, 400 calories, 30 grams of fat. Because of that fat dressing. They put the oils in there and they put the eggs in there. And then what do we do? Then we add croutons to it. And then we add cheese to it. So a Caesar salad is not a healthy salad. It's actually pretty bad for you. And I'm not a big fan of anchovies either. Ugh, just never liked the flavor of them. And I'm Italian. I guess I should like them, right? But you can make a good salad. And I have a salad at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. Why? Well, number one, it's good for you. But number two, it's really easy and really cheap. And sometimes, you know, I'm single. I'm running around trying to get things done and going to work and doing radio shows and doing TV shows. And what can I do that's quick and easy and something I can take with me? Salad is great. So you can do a salad. If you don't know what kind of dressing to put on it, my first book I wrote called Eating Right for the Health of It, we have a whole chapter on nothing but salad dressings. But you could do something simple. You could just do lemon juice if you wanted to. You can do 2/3 olive oil and 1/3 raw organic apple cider vinegar. Shake it up and pour that on. You can purchase salads. Try to get organic ones without the cheese and read the ingredients. You have to be able to pronounce all the ingredients. And you can have that ready in the refrigerator like I do. Have it in the refrigerator, so if I don't have time to mix up a salad dressing, I just grab that. And some fun things you can do. Fun things. Woo, what a fun life I have. Take some sesame seeds, put them in a dry frying pan, and just keep tossing them around in the dry frying pan until they brown a little bit. Kind of tastes like bacon bits. It's kind of fun. In fact, I have a salad just about every day, and my office manager comes in my office and goes, "What's that smell?" It smells like meat. So no, it's just toasted sesame seeds. You can put sliced almonds in there if you want to. You can put something called nutritional yeast. Now, I'm going to strongly advise you do this. Nutritional yeast has a lot of B vitamins, a lot of amino acids, but it has something in it called beta-glucan. And the specific beta-glucan that you find in nutritional yeast, also found in certain mushrooms, can actually help your immune system. And there have been studies that if you give a child, I don't know why they didn't do adults, they just did children as one study, about the equivalent of a half a teaspoon of nutritional yeast a day, the beta-glucans in a half a teaspoon of nutritional yeast can help reduce the risk of cold and flu by about 25%. Wow, that's pretty crazy. If you have a really good flu vaccine, it just happens to match up with the right flu strain that comes up, you might have a 35 or 40% effective rate. And here we are at 25%, and it's very expensive, nutritional yeast. I have to give you that. It costs about 4 cents for a half a teaspoon of nutritional yeast. And it tastes great. I use a lot more than that. I sprinkle it on soups and salads and everything. So you can take something that can be healthy, like a salad, and you can make it bad. Go down to salad bar and you put in, blue cheese dressing on there, right? Blue cheese, you know what the blue is, right, in blue cheese? It's mold. It's mold. Why would you want to eat mold? Well, this is imported blue cheese. Oh, it's French mold. It's even better still then. But you got blue cheese dressing, and you got bacon, and then you got you throw other junk in there, the cheeses, and now you've taken something that had the potential of being good and just destroy it. So just start thinking about that when you make a salad. Add some nuts and seeds to it if you want to. I like toasted sunflower seeds. Now raw, of course, is better, but I like to toast it. So I put some toasted sunflower seeds on my salad. And this is the thing. When you eat, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. So if you're eating healthy food, you're going to eat a lot less food. This is something that people say to me all the time. Dr. Joe, I am saving so much money since I've been eating the way you recommend, which is pretty cool. In fact, one of my salads, it's in my book, it's called Dr. Joe's Mango Salad. There's a restaurant in Atlanta, it's called R. Thomas, and Richard Thomas, he's not with us anymore, he passed. He stole my recipe. I gave him permission. He stole my recipe, and he put it on his menu. If you go to R. Thomas, still to this day, it says Dr. Joe's Mango Salad. So it doesn't have to just be a lettuce salad. In my first book, Eating Right for the Health, we've got a ton of recipes for salads as well. So you can take something very simple, very inexpensive, and when you eat like this, you're going to save so much money. You can make a salad, organic salad with organic lettuce and dressings and nuts, probably for $2. And people say it all the time with Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They say, Doc, I can't afford not to take this stuff. And I said, what do you mean? They said, when I take it, I'm not as hungry, so I eat less food, I'm losing weight, I feel better. And so the money I'm saving by taking it, because I'm not as hungry and eating as much junk food, more than pays for the supplements. I'm making money taking it. I said, that's a good deal when you can actually make money taking supplements, isn't it? And the Super Greens, the Essential Source, if you're new to the show, they're 2 powders, minimum amount of nutrients you need every single day. I take them at least once a day. I have it here at the studio with me. I take it twice a day if I'm going to do radio, television, if I'm traveling, something like that. So, okay, yeah, got to give Alan the signal there. It's time to go to break there. So, all right, folks, got to go to break. If you have a healthcare question, we're going to open up the phone lines. The number here at the studio is 844-44-Dr. Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. My website, if you want to watch podcasts, well over 1,000 hours of podcasts. We have videos, audios, articles there. If you want to order Super Greens, Essential Source, make an appointment to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. My team of chiropractors are ready to help get you well and keep you well. The website, again, drjoe.com. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. All right. There we go.
Nice little plug.
We got lots of questions tonight.
Wow, what's everybody doing? I thought you'd be out watching lighting of Christmas trees or something
That's
like
what
that.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all here.
Christmas trees. You're not allowed to put up Christmas decorations for at least another week.
Yeah, Vera doesn't let me do it until the day after Thanksgiving.
I know in Atlanta, the Macy's lighting is tonight. Oh, there's the phones lighting up. Everybody's paying attention tonight. My first question. Who would like to read me my first question?
Elderly family member, not eating, using a feeding tube. What else can they give besides Ensure?
Oh, Dr. Joe Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, absolutely positively twice a day for someone like that, even 3 times a day if you wanted to. I've had so many people over the years on feeding tubes that just do amazingly well because it's powder. Mix it up with that fluid, mix it up, and throw it in the tube. Avocados. Put it in a blender. Super Greens, Essential Source, avocado. Again, it's in a feeding tube. They can't taste anything. All that would taste good. I would give them at least 1 avocado a day, maybe 2. If they're losing weight, give them 2 avocados a day. So you take Super Greens, Essential Source, and avocados. Everyone has to be getting enough vitamin D in their diet. So I would give them 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D. That's 5,000 international units. And watch what happens in a couple of weeks. I think you'll be very, very impressed. And the Super Greens, the Essential Source on the website, drjoe.com. Avocados are not on the website. Go to the grocery store and get them.
And the Essential Source is what, 3 to 5 servings of fruits and veggies?
Yes.
And the greens is 3 to 5 servings of
Yeah,
greens.
somewhere in there. Yeah, so you're getting a ton of nutrients in there, and I couldn't imagine going a day without it. This is my second dose today, as a matter of fact.
So this person had a heart scan, got a clean bill of health, and then the following week had results that say 70% blockage in the arteries.
The Widowmaker.
Yeah,
Widowmaker, yeah. I don't know if that's a question or a statement. I'm not sure.
It's a statement.
Yeah, statement.
Okay.
More along the lines
They
of...
heard you talking about a heart scan, so they went and got it.
Oh, they got the virtual imaging one?
Yes.
Okay, that's surprising. I'm really amazed at that. I would call virtual imaging and talk to them about that. That's something you definitely want to find out.
They got a stent, I think they said.
Okay, yeah, find out, call virtual imaging and ask them about that because that's something that those heart scans are usually at virtual imaging are pretty specific. So I'm surprised to hear that.
And this next one, small intestine bacteria overgrowth.
Oh yeah.
So what foods should they be eating?
Dr. Joe's probiotics. This says take 1 a day. I would take 3 a day. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 at night.
And that's probiotics and prebiotics.
Yes,
correct?
probiotics and prebiotics. The Super Greens, the Essential Source, also, well, the probiotics and prebiotics there as well. So Super Greens, Essential Source, and the probiotics. Definitely stay away from any animal products because the commercial animal products usually have antibiotics in it, which can mess up your bacteria again. So that's what I would suggest strongly. A lot of vegetables. Vegetables have prebiotics in them as well, so making sure you go to a mostly plant-based diet. Stay away from sugars, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas. That feeds the bad bacteria, and that would work real well. If we need to, and I don't want to say this to do it right away, start here. You might want to try taking like colloidal silver, but let's start here and see what we do there.
Now, if we have time today throughout the show, can you drop some lines around nutritional tips to combat anxiety?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
that's one we always want to cover.
One more question. After breastfeeding, 6 months to a year, what do you recommend? Do you recommend giving any milk to the baby because they don't want to give cow milk? But
yeah, no, you can give them things like coconut milk, almond milk, but that's not nutritionally sound, okay? Cow's milk has a lot of nutrients in it, but it has a lot of stuff that I don't approve of. So I would never give a baby cow's milk ever. I would never recommend that. So if they're going into solid foods, if they're in solid foods, or even just like applesauce or something like that, the Essential Source works real well. A little bit of Super Greens, a little bit of Essential Source mixed in there. Mix it with the avocado, mix it with mashed potatoes, whatever you're feeding them, and start getting them into that as well.
So after breastfeeding, no milk?
Not cow's milk, no. Okay. You can give them.
What would be kind of the limit to that for a child?
Oh, I would give about a teaspoon.
Teaspoon?
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'd start maybe a quarter teaspoon, see how they do. Because whenever you introduce new foods to babies, you always got to start out slow.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter teaspoon for a couple of days, then a half teaspoon, then 3/4, and then a teaspoon.
And then what's the worst? The child gets diarrhea?
They'll get skin rash or diarrhea probably. I've never known anyone to do it, but that's usually a reaction to new foods. So that's what happens there.
And then just cut back on it a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, cut back a little bit too, yeah. I have adults sometimes that we have to cut back on it because they're not used to all that nutrients at once. They start to detox. Okay, here we go.
You want this rejoin or no?
Yes.
Listen to Dr. Joe.
The 5 most dangerous words in the English language are, maybe it will go away, stop suffering, and start getting well. Dr. Joe Esposito is on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're there. Having a great time today. We're talking about fake health foods. And this is a biggie because people tell me all the time, Dr. Joe, I have this great diet. And I look at their diet and I go, oh my gosh, no wonder you're sick. Because you've been duped into thinking certain things are good when they're not. I mean, gosh, I remember my mother telling the story that when she was pregnant with me, the doctor said, well, smoke. Cigarettes help calm you down, so smoking is okay, has no effect on the baby, don't worry about it. Wrong answer. So, yeah, we want to make sure we're getting good nutrients into the body and just think logical. You know, if it doesn't make sense, there's a reason why it doesn't make sense. So, if you have any healthcare questions, I'll open up the lines, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. That number, by the way, rings through to my offices when I'm not on the air. So if we don't get you on the air, some people are too shy to come on the air, you could always call in the question. Rachel's our screener. She'll write it down for me, and we can do it that way. Or you can send it to me through the website, drjoe.com. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Another fake health food, smoothies. I'm blown away with this one. And I've tried them years and years ago. I remember them all one time. I said, well, let me try it. What's this big buzz about smoothies? And it was really good. Oh my gosh. I'm like, man, my smoothies don't taste this good. This is amazing. What's in this stuff? And so I finally went and I looked it up online, and unbelievable amounts of sugar. So they take fruit and then they add sugar to it. And then they use like a simple syrup sometimes, which is sugar water again. And that's why it tasted so darn good. I liked it. So berry blend smoothie shop, about 80 grams of sugar, 350 calories, a little bit of protein, and often no fresh fruit, frozen or packaged or canned fruits. 80 grams of sugar. You're supposed to have 40 grams of carbohydrates in a day if you're really, really taking care of yourself. So here you've gotten double the amount of carbs with just one smoothie. What about the rest of the day? You're not going to eat anything the rest of the day? Nothing at all? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Fruit concentrates are used instead of fresh fruit. When they concentrate it, what do they add to it? Sugar. Sorbet, ice cream, and sweeteners. They can add that to the smoothie sometimes too. So it really is nothing more than a milkshake. We just call it a smoothie, but it really is just a milkshake. So if you're supposed to do 40 grams of sugar, of carbohydrates a day, what are you going to do to offset this smoothie? Well, the only thing you could really do, well, you could eat a whole lot of fiber, like a huge salads and broccoli and everything, or just don't eat it. The simplest thing is don't be duped into thinking just because it says smoothie, it's actually good for you. What I do in my smoothies, I use what? Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. It's perfect. I was just a guest on a show earlier today, and it was somebody had said that the other guest, he says, Dr. Joe, I got to tell you, he said on the air, so I take your Super Greens and Essential Source, I give it to my kids. He says, stuff's amazing. He says, how come I never heard about this stuff sooner? I said, well, I don't know. Been around for a few years now. But Super Greens and Essential Source are 2 powders, and you can mix that in, and I use coconut milk or almond milk. You could use cold water too, and just shake it up and drink it. That's a real simple way to do it. If you want to get crazy, get some frozen fruit, frozen berries, because berries are lower in sugar, and put it in a blender and whip it up. If you want to make it rich and creamy, you could add like a half a frozen banana, and that makes it more rich and creamy. But don't go out and buy smoothies, folks. It's just sugar water. Well, not just sugar water, but it's a lot of sugar. When you can make your own a whole lot less expensive, add the Super Greens, the Essential Source to it, and it'll just blow your mind. It's really, really good stuff. So just because something says smoothie, it's not good. How about an energy bar? That's one I've seen many times before too. Well, I'm going to have an energy bar, and that's all I'm going to have as a meal. Well, probably not a good idea. A lot of energy bars are nothing more than a candy bar. And they just have a fancy wrapper on it. Energy bar, 5 grams of protein, or whatever it is that they try to make you think that it's good. Could have up to 500 calories in it. Usually expensive. You eat this little energy bar and you go, well, I'm not full now. What am I going to do? Well, let me go out and have a donut, and let me have this, and more junk food. So if you want to eat something like an energy bar, which really doesn't give you energy. Now, sometimes they do add things like caffeine or taurine or something like that to it, and then it will give you a burst of energy. You're thinking, ooh, that energy bar gives me energy. And it's not the energy bar, it's the added caffeine. You can do an organic trail mix. You can buy trail mix, and whenever I travel, I always carry my own trail mix with me as well, because A, airports, you never know what you're going to get. B, it's expensive. So whenever I travel, I'll just take little Ziploc baggies, put a few different types of trail mix in there. Now, when you buy trail mix, be careful with this, because a lot of times they'll have some fruit in there, and that fruit is real plump and juicy and bright colored, and it tastes so good. A lot of those, they use sulfites in the fruit to preserve it. Dried fruit should be shriveled up and ugly. It should not be pretty and soft and juicy. If it is, chances are using sulfites. So read the ingredients. If they're using sulfites in there or sulfur dioxide, it's not something you want to eat. It can cause a lot of problems, many times headaches. People say, I don't know why I get these headaches every day. And I sit down and look at their diet and I go, eating trail mix, aren't you? Yeah, I got it at the big box store. It's really cheap. And $5 for this big bag. Read the ingredients, bring it in. And I read the ingredients, and what do they got? A lot of peanuts, which are cheap, which have sulfites, which have mycotoxins in it. Mycotoxin is a fungus. And then they have sulfites, which can cause link to cancer and can cause headaches. So it's not something you want to do. Now, regular organic trail mix, if it says organic, they can't use the sulfites. That's pretty cool. So organic trail mix solves that problem. And you could always make your own trail mix too if you want. Pick your favorite types of nuts, mix them together, maybe some raisins in there, some cranberries, make sure they're organic, no sulfites. And then you'd be a much better choice. Chunks of pineapple you can throw in there. That's a much better choice. But still, if you're eating those nuts, this is something I got to warn you about. And I always say the best foods to eat are fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Nuts will put on weight. So if you're eating well, Dr. Joe, I've been eating vegan, I don't understand, I'm not losing weight. Let's look at it. Chances are you're putting in a lot of nuts in there. So then we just cut back on some of the nuts. And in most cases, you do real well. Because as a chiropractor, my team of doctors and I, our goal is to want to get you well and keep you well. And we can give you the best chiropractic care service in the world. And we hope we do. But if you're eating poorly, your body's not going to work right. You have to have a normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. Those are the three things you have to have in order to obtain and maintain good health. And so if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, if you've ever been in a car accident, ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. And every day, well, almost every day, patients come in our offices and say, Dr. Joe, I heard you say that on the radio, and I was in a car accident. And right away, I didn't feel any pain, but then a few days or a few weeks or a few months later, I started feeling the pain. You may not feel the pain from a car accident up to 6 months later. And guess what? The insurance companies now go, we're not going to pay you because you waited too long. And it doesn't matter if the car accident caused the damage. You know it did, but they don't care. So you want to come see us as soon as possible after a car accident. If there's no damage to your body, we'll tell you. If there is, we'll tell you that too. But please, I'm begging you, come see us. And there's some clinics out there that may not be as ethical and they may not be giving you the treatment you need. Go to a doctor that you know is reputable, not just because somebody handed you a card at somewhere in the ambulance in a hospital and said, here, go see these people. Come see us, or someone who's reputable, and we'll get you well. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, we have in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We'd love to help you get well and stay well. If you have a healthcare question, lines are open, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. My website is drjoe.com, real simple to get to, lots of good information there, podcasts, supplements are on there. You can send us questions if you want to. Our goal is to naturally get you well and keep you well. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A lot of people have life insurance through work. It's a great short-term benefit, but is it enough?
What are you laughing at?
Those policies
Mark Aram asked, why'd you steal Von Hessler's hat?
I'm trying to be good looking like him.
That's why I laughed.
It's my chance.
Do you have any
Perfect.
questions?
No.
Mario, see, he has his hat on.
Just Mark.
Just Mark.
Nuts.
You what?
So you said stop eating nuts. I was all on your side, and at that point,
Well, and the big thing is...
Alan's aboard up.
it's stop eating 5 handfuls at a time. That's the thing.
That's exactly right. Don't eat 5 handfuls of them, right?
Well, and the whole talk on vegan and going vegan and you're gaining weight and talking about eating too many nuts, but you're not. If people don't think about it, all of the vegan cheeses are made from nuts.
That's true too. Exactly right. So don't be duped, Mark.
Okay, I have a few questions. I think this goes along with a lot of the other answers, but help tips for IBS. Food, like foods to eat and nutritional changes to make.
Sure.
For someone with
IBS, huge. I always said, if I could never see another chiropractic patient again in my entire career, I can make a multiple clinics very successful by treating nothing but digestive problems.
Yep.
So with IBS, many times what we find is stomach spasms and pushes up into the diaphragm. So we need to manually adjust or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. Then we got to get you on foods that are easy to absorb. Because with IBS, it's an inflammatory condition, the bowels are all inflamed, and you're not absorbing your nutrients. And if you're eating things that are irritating it, it's going to cause more inflammation. So it's just like if I have a scab and I keep picking at it. Well, it doesn't heal. So that the bowels are all inflamed, we got to bring that inflammation down. So how do we do that? Well, you got to stay away from two things initially. Well, meat and dairy products right away. Dairy is the big one. And meat, because it doesn't have fiber in it, it's going to irritate the bowels. So meat and dairy I'd stay away from absolutely. And then wheat. Because wheat has a protein in it called gluten, and gluten has two components, gliadin and glutenin. And when they get into the bowels, it causes an inflammatory reaction. And so I would definitely stay away from wheat, dairy, and meat. Oh, let me lower this here. Oh, we are lower. Wheat, dairy, and meat, and that'll help calm it down. Then I would do Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source because it's super high concentration of nutrients, but it doesn't irritate the bowels. And so you can start doing that and absorbing the nutrients so the body can start to heal. You also might want to consider aloe vera juice, but make sure it's pure, real aloe vera juice. There's a lot of cheap knockoffs on the market. So you might want to go to a real health food store and ask them, I need the real stuff. And aloe is very soothing, just like it is for burns on the skin. It soothes the bowels as you go through it.
Are some of the same things that you can say about IBS true for anxiety?
Oh, absolutely, because the brain and the stomach are so closely linked. There's a big nerve called the vagus nerve that connect the two. And if the digestive system isn't working, it's going to cause emotional issues. And the stomach's job is to take proteins and break them into something called amino acids. So you eat a protein, whether it's a carrot or a steak.
One of the voice rejoins coming back with music, or just music back to you?
You can do the voice rejoin. So the stomach breaks proteins into amino acids. The amino acid breaks get absorbed into the body and create neurotransmitters. So the amino acid tryptophan creates serotonin in your brain. And we're going to get a little complicated here. 95% of the serotonin in your body is not used in your brain. It's used in your digestive system. So if your digestive system isn't working, you're probably not getting enough serotonin, and also you're not breaking down the proteins to create the tryptophan to create the serotonin. And so serotonin is your happy neurotransmitter. So a lot of depression, anxiety is because of serotonin, low serotonin. Tyrosine becomes dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that gives you pleasure. So many times we're depressed, we're not experiencing pleasure. And so we fix the digestive system. It starts breaking down proteins into amino acids. The vagus nerve starts talking to the brain. Things start to calm down. And a lot of cases of depression, anxiety, bipolar, ADD, many of them get resolved by fixing the digestive system. So the answer is yes, they tie together so closely. What else we got?
I just had a question about, do you have like a ratio or like a balance of different like food groups, like fiber versus protein, and like is there certain amounts that you should eat each day?
Mostly fruits and vegetables. Okay, now people think, well, where's my protein? Your body only needs about 8% of its total caloric intake is protein. Anything beyond that is wasted. And it has to be broken down in your liver and your kidneys, and it puts a big strain on your liver and kidneys. So what we need to do is cut back on our protein, not eat more, but actually eat less, but quality protein. And so if you look at a cow, look at how much protein that cow is toting around. Milk and leather and hooves and bone and meat. And where does a cow get all that protein from? Grass. In a perfect world, it's eating grass. So the plants are loaded with protein, easy to digest, usable proteins. So that's why I strongly advise that you go with more plants in the diet. Some nuts, like Alan was saying, he says, I was with you all the way until you said stay away from the nuts.
I thought you were calling him a nut.
That's what that's what I'm calling him a nut, yeah. So but some nuts are okay, but if you're not losing weight, try cut back on the nuts, you'll probably lose a lot more weight. But if you don't know what to eat, on the website, I want you to watch the first video on the website. It's called 7 Deadly Sins of Nutrition. Watch that video. It talks about the things to avoid. The second one I want you to listen to, it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's on YouTube,
Okay.
And you can actually get to it from the website under the media tab.
Okay, yeah, in the media tab, and you can type in, so what can I eat? In the search engine, and that's an audio. Listen to that one. It'll tell you what not to eat and what to eat. It's very, very simple. Then the minimum amount of nutrients, super greens and essential source. And then we have the other supplements specifically for each person. We customize a plan for everyone.
We should do a show, and y'all chime in if you can and let us know what you think about it. But I almost think that's a great idea for a show, to break down the right ratio of fiber, protein, how much fruit and veggies you should have throughout a day.
Sure.
Well, in the balance of fruit and veggies, because I
more
find
veggies than
myself
fruit.
eating too much fruit because it's like candy when you're vegan.
Yep.
All she eats is kiwi.
Yeah, I love kiwi.
That's not a bad one. I think it's coming back. Eat the skin?
I don't.
I know, I've seen people eat the skin. It's like eating a caterpillar.
Just scoop it out with a spoon.
Cut it in half.
And I'm having to scoop it. Yep.
Some foods you suggest for those with Hodgkin's lymphoma and thoughts on fasting before chemotherapy? Okay. Pretty intense questions coming in today. Man.
Fasting before chemo.
Mostly sunny Wednesday, low 40, high 59.
52 degrees
after the
chemo,
chemo,
not
Street
before.
at News 95.5 and AM 750
Here we go.
WSB. Depend on it.
Personal responsibility and independence are important to you. Start today with something completely in your control. Your health. Dr. Joe Esposito is on.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad we're spending a little time together here and got Alan aboard up today. Special guest appearance by Alan. It's like a guest DJ. He's back there with all his hands on the buttons and everything, having fun. Rachel's answering your calls. If you have any healthcare questions, give us a call at 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. Try to get your questions on. We're talking today about fake health foods. Let's take some callers first because I got a lot to cover, but I don't want people hanging on too long. So let's go to Adam. Adam, how can we make your day better? Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, with cancer patients and your wife being diagnosed with cancer, yeah, absolutely, because diet is such a key player, and the studies are just coming out in droves on how diet is so linked to cancer, on preventing it, and then if you do get it, what to do about it. So, a couple of things I would suggest for a cancer patient if I had cancer. How about that? We'll put it that way. Number one, I would stay away from anything that has growth hormones in it, which would be commercial meats and dairy products. And non-commercial meats and dairy products have some naturally occurring, but less. So the studies have been shown pretty clearly if you go to a plant-based diet, that's the way you want to go for cancer patients. I would do about 60% of my diet raw. Now when I say raw, broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocado, salad, because raw food has something in it called enzymes. And there's also some studies out there showing if you can alkalize your system, the cancer seems to respond very well. So what I would suggest is go to a drugstore, get some pH paper. And pH paper will measure how much acid there is in your body. And first thing in the morning, have her pee a little bit. You can do this too. Pee a little bit, wave the paper through it. It's a little strip of paper. It's going to turn a color. There's a color chart that comes with your pH paper. You want to be about 6.5 to 7.0. If you're 6.5 or lower, that's not the place you want to be, especially for a cancer patient. Okay? And you want to alkalize the system. Now, Super Greens and Essential Source, two of my supplements, are very good at alkalizing the system. And then you also, what I find is doing something called intermittent fasting. Cutting back on your food intake so the body can heal faster. So if she could, skip dinner maybe 1 or 2 nights a week or more and just go from lunch right into breakfast the next day. So minimum should be 12 hours between one meal and the next meal, between dinner and breakfast. Minimum 12 hours. If we skip a meal here and there seems to be some studies on that as well, and that should help as well. Sure. You can do it. She can try it and see if if the chemo wipes her out, we may want to change that. Yes, but some patients do well with that. So if she just has no energy, if she fasts and then does the chemo, we may want to change that plan. But make sure she does a lot of water, lots of fluids. Okay? Great. Any other questions, Adam? Let me know any other questions. Thanks so much. And folks, if you do have a question, the number is 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. My website is drjoe.com. And let me see, what do we got to break at? 48, right? 48, Alan, is the break? Yes, okay, got it. Okay, good, 48 minutes. I know we're talking code here, 48, I don't know. So, 44, that's it, thank you. You got to post it up here for me, and I'm not as smart as you, Alan. I need you to help me out here. So we're talking about fake health foods and things that you think are healthy and you're not. And unfortunately, sometimes people buy into this lie, and then it's too late. And I get this all the time. Dr. Joe, I knew I should have changed my diet years ago. I should have gotten chiropractic care years ago, and now I regret it. Because with neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain from a chiropractic standpoint, if the bones are out of place, pinching nerves, causing pain, they're also rubbing up against each other. And when the bones rub up against each other, the discs will wear out. And as the discs wear out, the bones get closer and closer together. That's called osteoarthritis. Every day in my practice, patients come in, they bring x-rays, we look at their x-rays, and we take them, we show them to them, we see arthritis, and they say, where did that come from? And I'll say, you've been diagnosed with this for 10, 20, 30 years now. Did anyone ever tell you why you have osteoarthritis? And the answer 100% of the time, 34 years in practice, is no. No one's ever told me why I have arthritis. Here we go. You're going to learn. Osteoarthritis is mechanical. If bones are out of alignment, they rub up against each other. So if you have osteoarthritis in your foot, your hip, your knee, your ankle, your spine, it's mechanical. So what would be the most logical thing to do? Put the bones back in place. And that's where my team of chiropractors come in, put the bones back in place, help prevent degeneration of the discs. Same thing with food. People say, well, doc, I wish I'd done something sooner, and now it's really, really bad. So that's why I think today's topic is kind of fun, but it's also something to make you pause and think about, what are you eating? So another one that comes in, well, doc, I don't eat red meat. I eat chicken. And I say, okay, chicken. Let's talk about that. You get a burrito. Let's go to a Mexican place, you and me. We're going to go out for dinner tonight. And we're going to go to a Mexican place. We're going to get a burrito. And in the burrito, we're going to get some chicken. We're going to get some beans, some guacamole, some rice, some sour cream, some yellow cheese. I don't know where yellow cheese comes from. Never saw a yellow cow. I don't know where yellow cheese comes from. And so you got saturated fat with the sour cream and the cheese. And then you get this jumbo flour tortilla. And that's just, it's a super high gluten product, which the gluten is a protein that can get into your bowels and irritate the bowels. And then whenever you eat one, I don't know if you're like me, you're just stuffed. Oh, I'm so full, I should have eaten that much. And then you do something worse than that. You have the chips. The dreaded chips. Everyone loves the chips. I love the chips. Alan loves the chips. Alan's nodding in there, right? So what do chips do? We have the perfect storm of food that you can't stop eating. Carbohydrates, fats, and salt. And there's actually a branch called food science, where scientists sit around and they try to find out exactly how much of what they can add to food to make you eat more of it. Good for them. That's capitalism as its finest. How can I sell more of my product? And so that's what they're doing. They're sitting around saying, okay, if we add a little bit more salt or a little more fat, a little less fat, what kind of fat should I use? Soybean oil? Should I use peanut oil? Should I use canola oil? And so you now become part of the experiment. And if you're like me, you can't eat just one. So here's my rule on chips. Don't eat them. But if you're going to eat them, here's the rule on chips. 6 chips. That's it. I made up that number. It's an arbitrary number. But 6 chips, and you can have it before, during, or after. I prefer that you save the chips till after your burrito. Why? Because you're going to be full and you're not going to want to eat the chips. When you go in there with an empty stomach, you got all that salsa with the spiciness. Oh, you just can't stop eating it. That's great. Let's go back to the burrito. How can we take a chicken burrito and make it healthy? Well, if we take out the chicken, first of all, then we take out the cheese and the sour cream with the saturated fats. That's a good thing. And instead of that, add some guacamole. Now, some places charge for guacamole. I don't like that. As a vegan, I get very upset over that. But some places charge, some don't. I usually go to the ones that don't, just out of principle. But you can add some guacamole to it and some cilantro. Cilantro, by the way, has been shown to help the body detoxify from heavy metals like mercury and lead. It changes the electrical charge of the heavy metals that are bound to the cells and can help your body release them. Now you have to eat a lot of cilantro, but every chance you get, throw some cilantro in there. Break time again? Man, it goes so quick. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Got to go to break. If you have a healthcare question, 844-44-Dr. Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. We've got some good questions. Becky's got a good question about the paleo diet, so hang on for that. If you want to make an appointment to come see us as a chiropractic team, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love the opportunity to help you get well and stay well. Go to my website, drjoe.com. You can set up an appointment right online. The supplements we talk about, the super greens, the essential source, the B complex, the vitamin D, we got to talk about that too. All of those and others are on the website, drjoe.com. Hey, folks, don't go anywhere. Tell your friends about the show. We're going to be right back. Okay, Banky.
All right, we have a few questions. There was one follower who said that you've talked about getting full body scans done before.
Yes.
Where do you get them done and how are they done?
Virtual imaging. It's kind of like a CAT scan with very low radiation. So you got to look them up online. So.
Okay, and then you probably won't be able to answer this on the live stream, but we have one of our very loyal followers who I see on the live stream every week who is based in LA, and they want to know if you know any reliable chiropractors out there.
I do, as a matter of fact. Send me an email. Now, next week I'm going to be out of town, so it'll be about 2 weeks before I can get to it. Yeah, but if you send an email, actually send it to...
Do you want it on the or on the website?
Send it on the website. That's a good idea, and then I'm going to have Garrett answer that for you next week.
Yeah, so if you go to the website, we have a chat feature on the bottom left-hand corner, and you can ask any kind of health-related questions, product-related questions, or website-related questions. So you can go ahead and drop that question in there, and Dr. Joe will get it straight on his phone.
You get a choice of bean in that burrito. Black, navy, pinto, white. What do you get?
All of them.
And just mix them all.
Mix them all. They all have benefits. See?
Get those lentils.
He's getting all his good questions.
That's right, man. See,
I can't even remember when I've seen lentils except at home. I don't know you could get a lentil soup out somewhere, but not in a place like that.
It's a hipster thing.
I'm gonna take you off some Ethiopian food one day. They got a really good lentil dish there.
Oh yeah?
That's my favorite cuisine, Ethiopian. I love it.
Do you have any questions?
Fat Ethiopian.
Case point. Yeah, if you send it through the website, Garrett will get that message, and Garrett's going to ask Johnny, and Johnny will give you that information.
And replacement for coffee.
Replacement coffee, yes, mate, M-A-T-E. It's a tea. It works very well. Now, if you like the flavor of coffee, there's things like Postum, which is a substitute for coffee. It has that acidy flavor. But if you're doing it for the rush, mate is the next step. So mate is a lot more antioxidants than coffee. And then after you get used to the mate, then you drop down to black tea. But you got to give up the coffee. Yes. Good questions today.
What is one of your favorite quick snacks to eat?
Favorite quick snacks? Again, a handful of nuts is probably the easiest, quickest thing I have. I always have nuts all over the place, my office, my house. That's a real simple, easy one, but just a handful. So.
Tom Ayers is in.
Tom Ayers!
First off,
yes.
Love the lid.
Like the lid? New look.
An ode to Von Hessler.
Yes.
So he's asking, what's your favorite MCT oil?
I don't know if a brand. I don't necessarily have a brand.
I guess so. There's multiple different multi-chain triglycerides.
Yeah.
Or is it? Or they just come from coconut oil?
Well, the main one they use is coconut oil, but I'd rather use actually the whole coconut oil because the less processing, the better. And MTCs are processed. And by the way, Tom, you know why I'm wearing this hat? I'm going to try a new look. I'm going to be on Dr. Oz tomorrow. I'm going to fly up to New York tomorrow and be on a Dr. Oz show. So we're going to record a segment that'll air in December, actually. So trying a new look. We'll see if it goes over.
You guys should actually, if you keep up with the Instagram and the Facebook, you'll get some of the behind the scenes from the Dr. Oz show tomorrow.
Yes, tell all your friends tomorrow, starting early in the morning, we're going to start posting on Facebook and Instagram our little adventure from Atlanta to New York, to the limousine picking us up, to doing the show, to
going to the Big Apple.
Going to the Big Apple, man, getting it over with.
From the peach to the apple.
That's right. See, I like that's true. We're going very vegetarian tomorrow, aren't we?
And Steph over here on YouTube is about to start going through the 7 deadly sins of nutrition.
Good.
Converting a new one.
We converted thousands over the years, tens of thousands. So, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Elishine, looking good, my friend.
Elise. Elise. Say it right.
Everybody likes the hat.
So you like the hat, Elise? That's trying something new here. See, Garrett wears a hat, Alan wears a hat. I said, let me try something different here. So, it's a Stetson. There's a plug. Uh-oh, Garrett's thinking.
No, you can't talk to us daily in this forum, but we are on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook Live every Sunday between 7 and 9.
Yes. And sometimes if Garrett has his way, he'll be doing more of it. So he's trying to beat me over the head to do more of these things throughout the week, little pop-ups and stuff. So it's mean, makes me work.
We'll probably start doing that right after the new year. We're going to be putting together a green screen backdrop in his office and getting the audio set up. And you guys should start seeing a lot more of Dr. Joe.
I could be all over the world. I could be in Paris. I could be in Rome. I could be in San Nicolo, where my family's from. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oops. Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you spent a little time with us here, having a good time at the break there. By the way, make sure you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, because we do live stream a lot of these shows, and then we'll take little breaks and we'll talk about the kind of breakout sessions there. Do me a favor too, send me your email address. And the reason is we send out newsletters once a week, and in the newsletters we have a lot of good information, and it depends what Garrett's in the mood for. He'll throw together some recipes, and sometimes there's even specials on the supplements. So make sure you send us your email address. We'll never give it out. Don't worry. We're not going to sell it like so many other people do. But we just want to stay in touch with you. And then sometimes we have pop-up live lectures. We invite just our live people on the Facebook, on our newsletter list. So we'll have pop-up live lectures and question and answer sessions. And so you want to be part of the cool crowd. So
yeah, and actually on this last newsletter we have, there's an awesome recipe for a sweet potato salad.
Ah, see, there we go.
Yeah.
See, there you go. So it's always a lot of fun, and it's never a lot of stuff. We're not going to burden down with a bunch of stuff, so don't worry about that. All right, so today we're talking about fake health foods. Let's see. Let's take another caller. What the heck? If you have a question, 844-44 Dr. Joe, DRJOE. Becky, how can we make your day better? Yes. Everyone hits the plateau on their paleo. Okay, first of all, I'm not a fan of the paleo diet for more than 2 months. So I'm glad you've done it. I'm happy you lost the weight. I'm very, very excited for you. But studies are now coming out. It's been around long enough where there may be some health risks, specifically for the heart. So I'm not a big fan. But when you hit a plateau at any dietary regime you're working on, here's the secret. This is between you and me, Becky, okay? Don't let anybody else know. I want you to go into what we call intermittent fasting. So if you can do, at least 1 day a week, preferably 2 or 3 days a week. Have breakfast, have lunch, skip dinner. Now, if it's too hard on you, have a late lunch. Have a 2 or 3 o'clock lunch, and then skip dinner. And what happens is your body becomes a fat-burning machine for about 8 hours. After you eat a meal, you digest meal for about 8 hours. After that, it becomes a fat-burning machine. But what's going to happen is, if you keep eating every 8 hours, you're not going to lose the weight because you're not going into that fat burning mode. So what you need to do is give it a break after 8 hours, and every hour after that, you become more of a fat burning machine. Following? So do it separate times throughout the week, see how you do. Once you start doing it, this is what's really cool about this, you're going to go, that's easy. I can do that more. Now, there are some people that intermittent fast every day, which is perfectly fine. But you want to kick it off maybe 1 or 2 days a week, spread out the days, then maybe go to 3 days a week and see how you do. And you'll probably kick it into the next level of fat burning. There you go. Problem solved. All right, Becky, that's our secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? All right, it's our secret. Thanks. So today, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, if you're just tuning in. We're talking about health foods that you think are healthy, but they're not. Fake health foods, we'll call it that, okay? All right, he's giving me numbers. A caller wanted to know how to have a healthier football tailgate menu. Hey, that's a great question, actually. It's real easy, actually, because it's one of the shows I do on surviving the holidays. It's the same thing. You can have all the good foods and not the bad foods. So what does that mean? If I go to a holiday party, it's going to be a Christmas party, and maybe I know the person. I know there's going to be a lot of good choices there. I'm fine with it. I went to a Halloween party a couple of weeks ago. A friend of mine said, hey, listen, we're going to have several different vegan choices. Don't worry about eating anything beforehand. I was good. Now, what you can do with that? How do you do a tailgating party? Guacamole, hummus, and instead of using chips, use celery or carrots is a great thing to do. You can make a bean chili if you want to. If it's a tailgating party, it's going to be cold. Make a nice bean chili and eat that. That'll keep you warm. Always have salads if you want to. You can have quinoa salads, sweet potato salads. Sweet potatoes, really not potatoes, by the way, but a sweet potato salad, if you had been on our newsletter list, you would have got that recipe. But the sweet potato salad is much better than a regular potato salad. And so If you don't know what to eat, I have a book out. It's called Eating Right for the Health of It. Well over 200 recipes in there. But basically, go to the next party you go to and just look around and say, okay, what would Dr. Joe do? Remember WWJD, right? What would Joe do? And just start making better choices. So if I go to a party, there's usually celery and carrots and a crudité plate, and there's some guacamole somewhere and some hummus and some nuts. Usually a fruit platter there. Dig into that. Salad is always good. And here's the thing, too. You go to a party, and there's absolutely nothing that I would eat. So what? You skip a meal. It's a good time to have some intermittent fasting. And if you're really worried, another trick you can do is have a little snack before you go to the party. Have a little meal, and you're going to be fine. And if you go to my website, the one first lecture I want you to listen to is called The 7 Deadly Sins of Nutrition. We have well over 1,000 hours of video and audio podcasts on my website. 7 Deadly Sins of Nutrition, the 7 foods you want to avoid. The second one I want you to listen to is called So What Can I Eat? And if you put it in the search bar, right, Garrett, it will come up, right, if you do it in a search engine? Yes? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So if you're looking for a specific topic, you can put it in the search engine. But 7 Deadly Sins of Nutrition first. Second one is an audio called So What Can I Eat? And that's a perfect start on what to eat, what not to eat. In that lecture, we talk about things like parties, holidays, kids, traveling, lunches, breakfast, dinners. It's all there. So it's all right there.
And that's one of the ones that's available for download.
Oh, okay. That's on SoundCloud. Okay. So you can download that one, listen to it. And here's a secret. Your brain works like this. It has to have something over and over again to memorize it. So what you can do is take any of the downloads, and SoundCloud is where you can download it. And YouTube is where we have the videos. A lot of videos are there as well, some audio. And listen to it 11 times. I know that sounds excessive, but the brain needs repetition. In order for the brain to work, and the brain has a quality called plasticity. And the brain can restructure and reshape itself. But it has to be done over and over and over again. And so if you want brain plasticity, you have to do something over and over again, just like listening to a song. And so you can do that. You'll be amazed how much you'll learn every time you listen to it. Because, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, I talk fast. I'm from Jersey. I talk fast. And so you might miss a few things the first time around. I'm going to have to go to break soon. We've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to fake health foods. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, my chiropractic team of doctors, we're in the Atlanta area. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Stop suffering needlessly. The biggest complaint I get is, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer for so long? And what excites me is when people bring their children in. Because children, number one, usually heal a lot faster than us old folks. And children, if they have a straight spine, they grow straight. If they're crooked, they grow crooked. So when I become Grand Poobah of the universe, it's going to have to be all children have to get a chiropractic evaluation. Because if their spine is straight and they're healthy, life is a whole lot better for everyone. So if you want to make an appointment, go to website drjoe.com. You can do it right online. You can call us. You have questions about your insurance, just give us a call. We accept Medicare. If you've ever been in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. You need to come see us as soon as possible. So the website's there 24 hours a day. You can order supplements there, read blogs, listen to podcasts, but we want to help get you well and keep you well. Folks, got to go to break. Again, we still got a few more seconds here, right? Okay. When we come back, sugar-free foods. Are they really good for you? And we're going to talk about the vitamin waters that people are drinking. I think you're going to be surprised when you hear about what's really in those things. And we may even cover some milk, maybe some turkey hot dogs. Hey, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. There we go.
Careful on vitamin waters. Vitamin infused waters.
Oh, that's a brand name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. So gotta be careful with that.
Who is it that runs that? It's some rapper.
Oh, it's like Ludacris or something like that.
Yeah, it's some big rapper that
Ludacris
helped endorse it.
The Sprite, but it's someone like that. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
So, what do you have in terms of a suggested energy supplement?
Oh, gosh. That's a great question. Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support, absolutely. Dr. Joe's B Complex, absolutely. Those I take every single day. And then we got the secret one, grandmaster of them all, Dr. Joe's Nitric Oxide Support. And that's the one we have 4 of these a day, unbelievable. Now, I have to take them in the morning. I can't take them at night because I can't get to sleep. So the nitric oxide just rocks. It's a vasodilator. It opens up your blood vessels to your brain, to your family show, reproductive organs. A lot of men and women are using this now instead of little blue pill because it increases circulation to all the happy parts. And as we get older, our blood vessels aren't as elastic as we were when we were younger, so they don't expand and contract like they used to. The nitric oxide helps open up those blood vessels too. So B complex, adrenal support, nitric oxide, and then of course you have to do the super greens and essential source every day. That's like the minimum. So
I actually had somebody call in the office, I want to say Wednesday, talking about that, talking about diet, talking about, they're getting older and they have less and less and less and less energy year after year.
Absolutely.
And I broke down their diet with them, and it turns out most of what they were eating was destroying their adrenals. It was destroying it, like drinking coffee and then not being able to bounce back. And,
right. Perfect. It's not hard. It's easy. As long as you know how to do it, just like anything else.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes, and it's an easy, inexpensive lifestyle. It's a lot of fun.
And now this next question, we're actually going to be doing a show on it somewhat soon, I believe, either towards the end of this month or the beginning of the new year. But a diabetes diet.
Yes.
What to eat and how to do some form of meal plan, meal prep.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to do that in the future. If you go to the website, we may have some stuff on our website too. I think we did already. So just go to the website and type it in there. Yeah. Yeah, Garrett's putting together my shows. He tells me what to talk about every week, and I just do what he says.
50 Cent was the rapper.
50 Cent. There you go.
Did somebody remember?
Yeah.
One question from Instagram was, somebody just bought a juicer. Do you have any good juice recipes other than Essential Source and Super Grains?
Well, the reason I made the Essential Source is we take fruits and vegetables and juice them and take the water out at a very low temperature, because most people, when they buy a juicer, they'll use it 2 or 3 times. They're all excited about it. I got loud. Company's coming over, they put it away, and then never take it out again. So I said, if I can juice it and then put it in a powder form and then make it available, it's a lot cheaper too, because nothing goes bad. So weird, that speaker, isn't it?
Mind of its own.
Yeah, so juice recipes, if you're going to do juice, I recommend a lot of vegetables, a little bit of fruit. Because if you take too much fruit juice, you're taking out the fiber and the phytonutrients, and it's just like drinking sugar water. Well, similar to drinking sugar water. So that's why mostly vegetables with a little bit of fruit is going to be the secret right there. Okay? I try to do organic.
What is your opinion on juicing? Because something that I heard was that as soon as you juice it, the enzymes start to die.
Yes, they start to oxidize. So if you're going to juice, you want to juice and drink right away. You don't want to let it sit around. Now, again, a day-old juice is still better than a cheeseburger. Yeah. But the sooner you drink it, the better it's going to be, yes.
How much sparkling water do you recommend a person drinking a day? Like, is there a limit?
Well, it is slightly acidic, and that's why if you take club soda and put it on a stain, it dissolves the stain. Now, why club soda? Because club soda has a salt in it as well. Seltzer doesn't have salt in it. Club soda does. That's the difference between seltzer and club soda. Useless information. But the bubbles are slightly acidic, and that's so when you don't want to put too much acid into your body. We talk about that a lot. But if you have a glass or two of seltzer a day, it's no big deal. Back to Garrett.
So I guess we could touch back on the diabetes diet. Any quick tips or pointers?
Oh, absolutely. The Super Greens, the Essential Source, are just amazing. There's so much research now on diabetes that type 2 is reversible in many cases. And the studies are clear as day. High fiber diet. Years ago, I was a news reporter, and TV news reporter, and I did a report on, report came out in the Diabetic Journal, and it said, and don't quote me exact numbers, but I think it was 68 to 72 grams of fiber a day. You can reduce or eliminate the need for diabetic medication in most cases, because the fiber slowly pushes the food through the colon and gives you a slow release of energy. And so it takes the stress off the pancreas, and type 2 diabetes is called insulin resistance. You're eating food, and insulin goes into the cells. We got time. The way insulin works, it goes into a cell, unlocks the cell, and then allows sugar in. And what happens is if you have too much insulin in your body, you're eating a lot of sugar, you become insulin dominant. This insulin keeps opening up the cells keep taking in new sugar. Eventually the cells say, listen, dude, I can't take any more sugar. So the cells tell the insulin, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to open up anymore. And so now you become insulin resistant. The cells are resisting insulin from opening them up. So now the sugar's floating around in the blood. It's got to go somewhere. And so many times the body will then take it and bring it back to the liver, convert it into glycogen. Glycogen is where we store sugar. Glycogen, then if the glycogen stores are filled, the sugar gets converted into triglycerides, which gets stored as fat. So when you have high triglyceride levels, it's usually because you're eating too much sugar. And we can give you medication to lower your triglyceride levels or stop eating so much sugar. Problem solved. But a high fiber diet with diabetics works great. There's also a supplement we have at the office. It's not mine. It's a different company that makes it. It's called Gymnema. And Gymnema helps curb your sugar cravings. So what I tell people to do is next time you have a sugar craving, I want you to chew on a Gymnema capsule. You call the office a caplet, and we can get you some.
And Instagram, we're going to go away, but we will be right back.
Yes, we got to do this with Instagram. You got to shut down and come back on again. So, Gymnema, thank you. So what happens is if you chew this Gymnema caplet, it doesn't taste very good, but next time you eat something sweet, it has absolutely no flavor whatsoever. And so if you have to get over your addiction, that's a neat little way to do it. You can use Gymnema. So we have that at the office.
Also, talking about sugars, what are some foods that we don't think about sugars being in besides like candy and stuff?
Well, candy and cookies and cakes and donuts, of course, but bread. You know, you could have a bread that doesn't have sugar added, but wheat, the part of the wheat that we use is called the endosperm. The wheat has the germ, which is the little bottom of the wheat. It has the bran, the coating. The germ is where the vitamin E and the other nutrients are, and then the endosperm is basically just sugar. So white flour is very similar to white sugar. You're just eating pure sugar. So you're thinking to yourself, well, I had a sandwich with meat on it and cheese. There's no sugar in that. There's a ton of sugar in that. So anytime, grains, bread, you know, wheat, barley, rye, oats. Oats not so bad, but they have a lot of sugar in them. So you got to be careful with that. You think to yourself, well, I had a coffee or iced tea. That's another one. I actually have that in my notes. You think iced tea, well, that's fine. I could just drink that. Well, a lot of times it's loaded with sugar. So you got to be careful where the sugar's coming from. And if you're not losing weight, chances are you're eating a lot of things that are sugary. That's what the whole topic is today. Junk food. The food you're eating, I'll look at Alan there for a second. We're talking about fake health foods that are really junk foods that are just loaded with sugar. So I'm used to Ahmad over there. I'm not used to Alan over there. So I like him. I know. Big man, Al. You should see it, man. Looks like mountain man. Big long beard. Here we go.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you spent a little time with me today. We're talking today about fake health foods. So many people think they're eating well, and then when I sit down and look at their diet, I'm like, oh man, we got to talk. That's how we say it in Jersey. We got to talk. You and me got to sit down and talk about this stuff here. So let's talk about sugar-free foods. And this was very popular a while ago. It's not as popular as it used to be because what we did is we took the sugar out of things and we just added a lot of fat, and that was a problem. And then we have fat-free foods. We had a lot of sugar, and so that wasn't good either. But sugar-free food sounds like a no-brainer for weight loss, right? I'm just going to lose a lot of weight. But it can be a problem because of what you're thinking that you're eating. Now, you may not be eating a big thing of fries or maybe a dessert. You're saying, well, that's all sugar. I'm not going to have that. But you got to realize what's happening is many times we will, sugar-free, increase a lot of fat. And there's good fats and there's bad fats. And so many people are adding, well, commercially, we add the bad fats. Why? Because they're cheap. So canola oil, soybean oil, vegetable oil, cottonseed oil. I don't know whoever decided I'm going to eat cottonseed oil, but all of these oils are very high in something called omega-6 fatty acids. And omega-6 fatty acids increase inflammation. And as a doctor, as your doctor, as a chiropractor, we want to reduce inflammation, not increase inflammation. So this is why when patients come in our offices, every patient gets a nutritional evaluation. Because we want to try to get to the cause of their problem, not just treat the symptoms. And again, we can give you the best chiropractic care in the world, but what's going to happen is you're eating a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, a lot of inflammatory foods and sugars and breads and cookies and cakes and alcohol, and you're not going to get all the results that you want or could be getting. So why not get everything you can? Get the best bang for your buck. We get the nervous system working. That's my team of doctors. We put the bones back in place, help relieve pain, open up the nerve supply. You work on a diet,
And then we recommend supplements if we need to. So the minimum amount of supplements you should be taking every day are Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. I take them every day, at least twice a day. No, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. But another thing I need you to consider, especially in the winter months, is something called vitamin D. Vitamin D, the studies are coming out almost on a daily basis on how beneficial vitamin D is. It's not really a vitamin, it's a hormone, but don't worry about that. That's semantics. But vitamin D is vital for healthy bones. It's healthy for the immune system. They're finding research with vitamin D in cancer. Now, there's 2 types of vitamin D, vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. You want to do vitamin D3. Vitamin D2 is the synthetic version. Vitamin D3 is the one you want. We have one on the website, drjoe.com. It's Dr. Joe's vitamin D, and we also add vitamin K2 to it. Vitamin K2 is vital to help build up your bones. It's important, and a lot of people don't get enough of that. So that's on the website, drjoe.com. I take 5 drops a day. That's 5,000 international units. But surprisingly, I digress. Let's go back to sugar-free foods. Now, if we use artificial sweetener, that's the worst of the worst. If I had to give you, of the 7 deadly sins, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, the worst one, the one you have to give up right now, not tomorrow, not after the holidays, not after my birthday, not until I use up stuff in the house, get rid of the artificial sweetener. Aspartame. Aspartame is one of the popular artificial sweeteners. It breaks down to 3 components: aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methyl esters. Aspartic acid, when it gets into the brain, is an excitotoxin to the brain. It causes the brain to fire faster than it's supposed to and can actually burn out your brain cells. Several weeks ago, I did a show on glutamic acid, and I thought about it, and when I went on the air, I thought, am I going to have enough stuff to talk about for a few hours? I did. There's a lot to talk about with glutamic acid. Aspartic acid works a similar way. It's an excitotoxin to the brain. Number 1 side effect of aspartame ingestion is headaches. So if you're getting headaches, you got to cut out the artificial sweetener. One of my coworkers that I work with, he's a patient of mine, and he says it on the air, so I can say it. And Eric Von Hessler, and he says, my arm is moving better, and my feet are doing better, and everything's great, but he still has a little bit of headaches, and I'm desperately begging him to give up his artificial sweetener. And how does he do it? Chewing gum. So hopefully he's going to get better on this. I'm working with him on that. But you got to get that artificial sweetener out of your system. Aspartic acid is an excitotoxin to the brain. It breaks down to phenylalanine. Phenylalanine can get into your kidneys and cause some real serious damage. So if you have a condition called phenylketonuria, but it also breaks down into methanol, methyl esters. Methyl esters are wood alcohol. Now, if I was going to sell you a bottle of wood alcohol, I would have to have a skull and crossbones on it. That's how dangerous methanol is. And yet we have small amounts of it in artificial sweetener. Not a good idea. And somebody had an argument the other day when they thought they tricked Dr. Joe, but they didn't trick Dr. Joe. They said, yeah, but like things in nature have methanol as well. I said, but they also have something they call ethanol. And ethanol blocks the absorption of methanol. And in aspartic acid, in aspartame, you don't have the ethanol helping you block the absorption of the methanol. I know it's a little chemistry there. But it's an alcohol. And this is something I've noticed too. A lot of recovering alcoholics will drink diet soda. Why are they drinking diet soda? My theory is they're actually getting a little bit of alcohol in their body, and it's stimulating those receptor sites in their brain that's going, woohoo, I'm getting high. So be aware if you're an alcoholic or if you have a tendency toward alcoholism, anything with aspartic acid is going to break down into methanol, which is an alcohol. Sucralose. Sucralose, another thing that's sugar-free. Sucralose is a chlorinated hydrocarbon. What that means is we take sugar, go through a 5-step process, and we create a chlorinated hydrocarbon. Chlorinated hydrocarbons, when you get into the body, stimulate your estrogen receptor sites. They actually act like estrogen. Now, estrogen is a hormone that some people need, but it's a growth hormone. So if you're not growing up, chances are you're growing out. And it's many times more powerful than human estrogen. So people say, well, I need more estrogen. I'm a woman. I've gone through menopause. I need estrogen. It's too much. It's not the right kind. It's not what you want. So be careful with that as well. And so the artificial sweeteners can be a big problem. You can do things like stevia. I'm okay with stevia. Lohan, L-O-H-A-N, that's another sweetener you might want to consider. Erythritol, that's another one that's okay. If you do too much of those sweeteners, the worst thing that happens is you get some diarrhea. So don't pour it on your food. And be careful with stevia. Stevia is a sweetener 300 times sweeter than sugar. So it's extremely concentrated. Now, if you're buying it commercially, it's usually cut with something called maltodextrin, but too much of that is going to be really bad for you. You got to be real careful with that. So, all right, folks, got to go to break. A lot more to cover today. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr.Joe. We're going to talk about enhanced water, maybe some milk, maybe some other topics in there, multigrain products, olive oils. We got a lot to cover. If you have a healthcare question, give me a call, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. That number, by the way, rings through to my offices when I'm not on the air. So if you want to make an appointment, if you have questions, 844-44-Dr.Joe. Lines are open now. The supplements we talk about, Super Greens, Essential Source, Vitamin D, bunch of other supplements. They're all on my website, drjoe.com. So my books, you can order them there. Also available on Amazon, too, if you want to do that. And to make an appointment, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, nutrition issues, just make it online, drjoe.com, or give us a call at 844-44-Dr.Joe. Hey, tell your friends about the show. I'll be right back.
So this is a great question.
We like great questions.
And now that we're off the air, we talk brands, and he's asking about Bragg's liquid aminos.
Hold on.
Maybe it's time to stop suffering and it's time to take action. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, why don't you come see me and my team of doctors, and let's see if you have a problem that we can help. Go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr.Joe to make an appointment today, because so many of you are out there suffering needlessly, and we want to put a stop to that. Come see us at our offices in Marietta, Stockbridge, and Duluth. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
There's something so unique.
There you go.
So on...
yes, the liquid aminos, absolutely. Yeah, what's the question?
In the ingredients, it has aspartic acid. Does that make it potentially dangerous?
No, because it's with the other amino acids. So aspartic acid plays nice with other amino acids. When it's individualized and it's isolated, that's when you have your problems. Same thing with glutamic acid. We need glutamic acid in our body, but too much of it is when we have the problem, when it's isolated. So that's why in something like a liquid amino or something like that, that's perfectly fine.
And then what about xylitol derived from corn versus trees?
Xylitol's okay. I mean, if you got to be careful if it's genetically modified corn, I wouldn't use it. But other than that, it's okay. Yeah.
So most xylitol coming from corn is probably going to be...
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they use on that, but get organic if you can get it. It solves that problem. Lots of callers all of a sudden. It's so funny. All of a sudden, they all come in at once.
Okay.
She's getting bombarded over here on
I
Instagram.
have a few questions. First of all, do you have any, would vitamin D help for psoriasis in the winter, like the vitamin D supplement?
It can, yes.
Because I know, my dad has really bad psoriasis in the winter because he doesn't get sun as much, and the sunlight really helps it.
Yeah, so the vitamin D can help skin issues, but the key to psoriasis is always a liver issue. So you got to cut out, usually wheat and dairy. You cut out wheat and dairy, and most psoriasis dries up.
Yeah, he's switched to almond milk. I finally got him off of cow milk. So... we're making progress. But the benefits of coconut water versus regular water.
Coconut water is loaded with vitamins and minerals. In fact, tomorrow on Dr. Oz, the topic that, the phones are lighting up. The topic they want me to cover is natural cures for hangovers. Now, I don't know if we're going to have enough time to bring up coconut water, but coconut water is a lot of vitamins and minerals as well. But there's a lot of sugar too, so be careful with that.
Okay, and then dates as sweetener.
Okay, but again, not too much.
Okay, and then spring versus purified water.
Purified better, because spring doesn't have any regulations really whatsoever. So, yes, those are quickies. Those are easies.
Yep.
Yep.
Now that we have some time, maybe let's go over what did you eat today, or what are you planning on eating over Thanksgiving?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, what do you eat? And people ask me, what do you eat for Thanksgiving? Just like at any other party, what's going to be there? There'll be green beans, there'll be salad, there'll be maybe guacamole, there'll be any of the vegetables. I mean, I'm a vegan. I eat vegetables. That's all I ever eat. So yeah, look at that and see what you can do. And once again, you're not going to starve. It's okay. Because the problem with Thanksgiving is not only the food, it's the amount of food. We usually don't eat that much food in a sitting, and it's different food. You don't eat turkey all year most of the time. You don't eat, I don't know, stuffing. You don't eat pumpkin pie. So your body gets used to certain foods. It produces certain enzymes. We kind of evolve. And now suddenly we throw too much of new food into the body, and it just blows out the immune system. So eat lighter. It's okay to celebrate and not walk around like this every day. Just because somebody said eat a lot doesn't mean you should. So Thanksgiving is never... God, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 callers. All of a sudden, we'll cover a lot more. Oh well, yeah, start covering questions then.
Popular topic.
Yes.
Quick question. What are you drinking right now?
Super Greens and Essential Source. Super Greens Essential Source, and I put a little coconut milk in there, and now I just add a little water to it and rinse it out because I don't want to ever waste any of it. It's so good. So that stuff's just amazing, and I don't know why the whole world just doesn't do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 callers. I think we only have 6 lines. I think they're all lit up here. So.
And then another quick question: are plastic containers okay as long as they're not being heated?
Not being heated or scratched. The only thing you'd ever want to put in a plastic container is something that's cold and non-acidic. So vinegars wouldn't work in there. Tomatoes wouldn't work in there. So I'd just use glass. I mean, this is an old, maybe pickle jar or something like that. So just recycle all your glass. You'll be fine. All right, coming back soon.
That's something we started doing was everything we get goes in mason jars.
Yeah.
We got tons of different sizes ball mason jars.
Yeah.
And
that's what I do. I make soup a lot. Yeah. Big jars, little jars. All right, here we go.
United States of Health. Now on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. A lot of callers. I'm going to go right to callers, I think, now. I got so many more things to talk about on fake health foods, but I want to answer your questions too. If you have a question, 844-44-Dr. Joe. That number rings to my offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge when I'm not on the air. Jack, how can we make your day better? I'm well. What's happening? Sure. Never feel full. Yep. Yep. Understood. Yeah. What I find in every case, like you, and I'm like that too, is the stomach can push up against the diaphragm. And when the stomach pushes up against the diaphragm, I get that way too. My stomach feels full, but I want to keep eating. And I know that's one of the symptoms that I need to get my stomach adjusted. My team of doctors can actually pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. The only logic I have behind this, because I've never seen any research on it, is your stomach's job is to produce a hormone called leptin. And leptin is released in the stomach. It goes into the blood system, goes into the hypothalamus in the brain, and tells you that you're full. So even though your stomach is bloated, the brain is not sensing that it's full. So what I find whenever I get like that, I get one of my doctors to adjust my stomach, pull it away from the diaphragm. Now I'm digesting food, which is a good thing. And I can eat normally and then feel full. So chances are that's what you have, Jack. Well, somebody who knows how to fix that, actually. Not all of us know these tricks on how to adjust the stomach. So if you call around, or you can come see us, of course, Duluth would probably be our closest office to you. And we can get that stomach worked on. But if they don't know how to adjust the stomach, that's probably not the place you want to go then. Yeah, just come see us. That's great. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. All right, let's keep taking callers because there's so many of you. Kathy, how can we make your day better? Oh yeah, we see so many fibromyalgia cases. In fact, the other day I had 3 new ones just in one day. Now that I remember thinking, wow, 3 is a lot in one day. Yeah, with fibromyalgia, we got to get the diet straightened out. We got to get the digestive straightened out. We got to get the bones lined up, take the pressure off the nerves. We got to get these muscles, increase the circulation. I find people do pretty well with Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support because nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels and increases circulation throughout the body. Yeah, but we have a whole protocol for fibromyalgia patients. We'd love to see you. Yes, we take most insurances. Always call us because sometimes there's out-of-network coverage, there's in-network coverage. We can match coverages. So don't freak out if you don't see our name on your insurance list. Many times there's ways around that. And some insurance companies just make mistakes when they print the lists. We've had that happen many times. If you call the office, my staff can give you a whole explanation on how we work with the insurances. But we do accept most of them, including Medicare. Actually, this week should be no problem. If you call the office tomorrow, we should be able to get you in as soon as possible. Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate the call. All right, folks, if you have a question, 844-44-Dr. Joe. Let's keep taking the callers. Tom, how can we make your day better? Yes. Yes, hemochromatosis, right. Mm-hmm. Sure. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Well, I would look at her diet. I'd get her on a low iron diet, of course. The other thing she can do is donate blood. If she's able to donate blood, go donate blood. Now, some doctors you can actually write a prescription to have blood drawn, and then they just throw the. Yeah. Excellent. Good. That's some doctors on the ball there. Yeah. So if you donate the blood, that'll get the iron out of the system. And also, I strongly advise men to donate blood. And women that are postmenopausal, yes, because we don't have a menstrual cycle. So we just keep building up blood and building up iron and building up iron. And the iron essentially oxidizes, it rusts in the body, and that can cause problems. And some theory behind it is that that's why men have more heart attacks than women, because we have more iron in our blood. So whenever we get a chance to donate blood, boys, it's always a good idea to donate some of that blood. Save somebody else's life, and it'll help lower your iron levels. There you go. Yes. And if that doesn't work, Tom, have her come see us, and we'll do a whole nutrition workup on her, see where she's getting that iron in her diet. Low iron diet. There you go. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate the call. Thanks, Tom. So you always got to think outside the box here, folks. What time we got? 20, we got 2 minutes. So 2 minutes. There you go. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more. And if you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Oh, by the way, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Many times we do it on YouTube too. We live stream the show, so you get to see my pretty face. But it's a lot of fun because we have breakout sessions at the breaks and stuff. We'll answer some questions for you. Also, send us your email address. We want to send you on our newsletter list, because we'll never give your email address out. Don't worry about it. But many times we'll have special breakout lectures that we'll have just for people on our email list. Specials for our patients. We usually throw a couple of recipes from my book, Eating Right for the Health of It. And lots of fun stuff. So send us your email address. I promise you we'll never give it out, ever, ever, ever. And it's just good to stay in touch with you. And again, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, so many people suffer needlessly. They have neck pain and back pain and shoulder pain and acid reflux and heartburn and gas and bloating. Raise your hand if I just mentioned you. Yeah, most of you should be raising your hand right now, because so many people suffer needlessly. And when they come see us, and again, we can't help everybody, but they come see us and they say, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer for so many years? And the longer you're suffering, usually the harder it is to fix the problem. So if you've had an injury, maybe you fell, maybe you played sports, maybe a car accident, if you didn't get it fixed, it's probably hanging on there. And don't be like so many of our patients that say, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer for so long? So from a chiropractic standpoint, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love to evaluate your spine, check your digestive system, and then do a nutritional workup as well. All the supplements we talk about and a bunch more, they're on the website, drjoe.com. We have a blog that I do there. We have audio and video podcasts. You can listen and watch the podcast, download them off SoundCloud if you want. We have SoundCloud and YouTube. We want to get this information to you. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners. We want to get it to you the best we possibly can because we don't want you suffering. Nope. Guess I got to go to break again. Too much time. I got too much to cover. We'll just have to go all night. I'm sorry. Just cancel the rest of the shows, Alan, for the rest of the night. I'm on. Folks, if you want to make an appointment, again, drjoe.com, or you can give us a call at 844-44-Dr. The website's there 24 hours a day. If I don't get you on the air, I know we've got a lot of callers today, you can always send me the question through the website, drjoe.com. I'm more than happy to answer any questions for you. And then you can follow the live stream as well. So let's see. Okay, we've got a few more minutes. All right, we come back and talk about enhanced water. What do they say they add vitamins to it, and did they really? I guess they do, but does it really help? And then I'm going to pick a couple other things, maybe some granola and yogurt you think is really healthy. Probably not, folks. Hey, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. My website, drjoe.com. Do me a favor. Tell your friends about the show. We're going to be right back.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Now is your chance.
Okay. There we go.
And she always...
Yes.
Sierra always yells at me because every time we go to buy granola for the house, we put them in our little mason jars.
Good, Corey.
I always end up looking at the chocolate ones.
Of course.
The ones that are sweet. And
like double chocolate and
yeah.
peanut butter. And I'm like, that's not, the whole point of eating granola is for it to be healthy.
Yes. And a real easy thing you can do is make your own granola, you know.
That's
You
what
can
I
take
keep telling
oats,
them.
throw a few nuts in there, maybe a few dried raisins, and then you've got your own granola.
And tons of sugar and chocolate.
That's what you need, a sugar and chocolate, a little high fructose corn syrup in there. Yes, that's the good stuff right there.
Okay. We have one question from our guy who likes to ask deep questions. He really likes to pick apart what you say.
Deep questions.
Okay. In your program on longevity, you mentioned that the part of the brain that evaluates risk develops at 25. Question. If maximum health is maintained, can the brain develop even further over time?
Well, it's the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex forms right around age 25, and that's why young kids do stupid things. And that's we said that's why we draft 18-year-olds because they're bulletproof. The prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that determines risk. The brain can develop over time, absolutely. It can continue to grow and develop. And an interesting fun fact for you is, men, as we get older, there's two parts of the brain, left and right hemisphere, and there's a connection called the corpus callosum. And as we get older, men, our corpus callosum actually gets smaller. So we don't process information as well, because the information is going from right side to left side to right side. For women, the corpus callosum actually gets bigger. So a woman can process more information, and that may be what we call women's intuition. They just know that something's not right because their capability to process information is better than us boys, especially as we get older. So there you go. Good question, though. Somebody's paying attention.
Yes. Okay, and then do you sell a vegan protein, and is that a necessity?
No, you don't need it. There's some protein in the Super Greens, the essential source, but you don't need a vegan protein, so there's no reason to really do that. So,
what about people who are trying to build muscle?
your body only needs about 8% of its total caloric intake as protein. Anything beyond that is wasted. And in fact, it puts a stress on the kidneys and the liver, and that's why we see a lot of these muscle heads start to develop liver and kidney problems. And so you don't need more protein, you just need to be able to utilize the protein that you have, and you do that by fixing your digestive system. So the stomach acid, the hydrochloric acid, activates pepsin and pepsinogen. Pepsin and pepsinogen breaks protein into amino acids, and then you can absorb it. So you don't need more protein, you need better digestion to get the protein down. So you don't need a vegan protein. That's crooked. Thank you.
And then, why does turkey put you to sleep on Thanksgiving Day?
It's not the turkey, because I talk about tryptophan. It has, all meats have about the same amount of tryptophan. It's not the turkey, it's the amount of food we eat. Number one consumer of energy we have as humans is sex. The number two consumer of energy is digestion. And when you put a bunch of food, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, all in your stomach is expanded, it can't digest the food properly, it's just exhausting. So it's not the turkey that makes you tired, it's the volume that makes you tired. What else?
I just love the fact that all the muscle heads are taking different types of whey protein. They're taking just all kinds of overprocessed proteins, and all it's doing is it's using up more energy. And they'd be better off just not taking anything.
Exactly. Yeah, you
How
don't
do you
need
feel
more
about
protein.
the amino acid, like the builder, like the BCCA that they take?
You don't really need the free form amino acids, or the medium chain, long chain, short chain amino acids. As long as you're eating and your digestive system is breaking it down, it's fine. You don't need anything special with that.
You got some great marketing techniques out there now.
Oh, it's brilliant, man. It was Joe Weider who started all that. He was Mr. Bodybuilder and muscle magazines, and he's the one who started pushing the Joe Weider proteins and everything. And it makes sense. I'm building muscle, I need more protein, but you don't need that much protein.
One of his dad's friends was we were trying to tell him that, you don't need a lot of protein, and he was like, oh, well, I have to have a lot of protein because of the way that how much stuff I do. I have to get the protein or I won't be able to do stuff.
So many professional athletes now going to a plant-based diet, and they're
more
skyrocketing their careers, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm eating less food and I'm doing better in my athletic performance. And so many bodybuilders are now, they'll build up. And even Arnold Schwarzenegger in his biography said that the only heavy protein he ate when he was winning, as Mr. Universe, was tuna. He says, and I probably didn't even need that. So it's a fallacy. You don't need a whole lot of protein.
Like Tom Brady has an extremely
Tom Brady, yeah.
extremely plant-based diet, and he's very strict about that.
Look how old he is and still doing well in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing you can take though is the nitric oxide before you work out.
Oh yeah, that's a little boost. A lot of folks will do that. They'll take the nitric oxide before, bam, you get that burst of energy, which is great. So you don't need more protein though. So.
Do we have time for another good question?
I think so, yes.
All right, this is from our deep thinker again.
He's thinking of deeply again.
He gets about an hour in, he gets all of his thoughts. Cows get huge on grass. Horses get huge on oats. Gorillas get huge on bananas and plants too. Why don't humans get as large as fast on plants? DNA, digestion.
Yeah, DNA. I mean, we don't have the musculature that a gorilla has. But look at how big and strong they are, and look at how long they live on a plant-based diet. So the point of that is absolutely plant-based diet to live long and be strong. So the shortest lived animals are carnivores. And the longest living animals, like tortoises, who live, hundreds and so hundreds. I mean, at least over 100 years.
100, yeah.
Plant-based diet. Yep. Another good reason we should be plant-based diet. All right. We got Steve giving us traffic here. That's who I was waving to, by the way, folks. For you watching, Steve Winslow was over there, and I was dancing with Steve there. So. All right, man. Last two segments. Again, if we don't get to your questions, send it through the website. We'll try to get it answered that way. Don't think we're ignoring you, but we can't get to everybody all the time. So.
This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, which invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Get started at cctakesteps.org. Steve Winslow, WSB.
I'm Channel 2X
Not yet.
meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast.
Weather. Traffic, weather.
One thing we're doing for Thanksgiving is another one of the roasted cauliflower.
Oh, roasted cauliflower is
whole
great, isn't it?
cauliflower
I'm
head.
making mushroom Wellington this time.
Oh, mushroom Wellington. Okay.
Yeah.
I made
We'll
roasted
save it for
cauliflower
Christmas.
last year.
I'll be working the starting line at Macy's Day Parade. That's where I'm going to be on Thanksgiving, after Dr. Oz tomorrow.
Got a busy week ahead of you.
Listen to Dr. Joe Esposito every week on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. Having a good time today. Lots of good questions and a lot of good coverage. We're talking about fake health foods, things that you think are real health foods and they're really not. They're actually making you sick. So let me take a few more calls. I hate when people have to wait online. And then if you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe, and I can have you wait online. Betty, how can we make your day better? Hello, Betty. I'm happy, Betty. Yes. All right, spinal stenosis is a form of arthritis. The bones are out of alignment and they're putting pressure to compressing where the spinal canal is. And the reason we develop spinal stenosis is because the bones are out of alignment, rubbing up against each other. So spinal stenosis is a mechanical problem. You're telling me, what you're telling me with that diagnosis is it's been there for years. And so, sure. Exactly. Yeah. So it's been going on for years. And whenever a patient comes in our offices with arthritis, any form of osteoarthritis, if it shows up on the x-ray, it's been there for at least 10 years. So for arthritis to even show up on an x-ray, it's got to be there 10 years. So if it's in advanced stages, it's been there for a long time. So step number one, what I would recommend, Betty, is get the bones put back in place as quickly as possible to stop the process from getting any worse. And in many cases, if we stabilize the spine, people go on with their lives and live and die and everything's great before it gets so bad, because you can do surgery on it, but you're doing surgery on the spine. And I'm not against surgery, believe me. If you need it, if I need it, I think I'm going to go get it. But if we can prevent that surgery, that's going to be my goal. Because, yeah, well, come see us. You're not far from us. We have 2 offices right near you, Marietta and Duluth. And come on and see us. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what we can do. If it's something we can help, we'll tell you. We even take Medicare. I think we're the last doctors in the world that still take Medicare, yes. So, yeah. Yes. If you have the MRI, if you have any reports, bring them in. We'd be more than happy to go over them with you as well. Yeah, so bring it is a good idea. Absolutely. Okay? And this number you just dialed, 844-44-Dr. Joe. We're not on the air. Just call the offices and we'll get you set up, okay? My pleasure. Look forward to seeing you, Betty. And by the way, folks, if you have x-rays or MRIs, we'll be more than happy to do an evaluation of your x-rays or MRI, no charge. and we'll sit down with you, show you what we found, discuss the options that may be available for you. A lot of people come into us pre-surgical, and they'll say, what do you think, doc? And sometimes I say, hey, it's a surgical case. You're going to need it. But sometimes I'll tell them, well, you know, we got to figure out 44, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Got to talk to Alan there. Sometimes you need surgery. Sometimes you don't. And many times surgeons will send us cases. And they'll say, listen, see what you can do to help this person. And even if we can't avoid the surgery, we can get them as healthy as possible going into the surgery so they're healthy coming out of the surgery. Because you got to realize something that doctors get a report card. And they grade them on how successful they are, morbidity and mortality. Did the person survive? You know, did they survive? Did they get better? Did they get worse? Or did they die? And so surgeons want to make sure they get good grades. And so it's easy for a surgeon to say, hey, you know, Dr. Joe, have your team of doctors look at my patients. Let's find out what we got going on here, because if we can avoid problems with the surgery, well, heck, that makes them look good. So everybody wins. Nobody loses. I think that's pretty good business right there. Okay, let's take some more callers. I'm sorry. I'm drifted away there. Lisa, how can we make your day better? I'm so happy. Okay, leg cramps could be a pinched nerve in the low back. That's one of the most common things we see, a pinched nerve. And the nerves and blood vessels, as they come out of the spine, wrap around each other. So if you're pinching a nerve, you're also pinching a blood vessel. So it could be a pinched nerve in the low back. That's the most common thing and usually pretty easy to fix. Second thing is we got to start looking at, is it a circulatory issue? You might want to try Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support. Could be a magnesium issue. Many times people think it's a calcium problem. It's really a magnesium problem. So you can take a magnesium supplement, or you can soak in some Epsom salts, get in a bath with Epsom salts. It'll absorb magnesium right through the skin. Your skin is a sponge. And that may help relax the muscles as well. So there's a couple of different options that we might want to look at for her. But if it's pain, it's a warning sign. It's telling you something's wrong. Don't ignore it. It's only going to get worse. Can you give blood if you have high blood pressure? That's a question for the blood people. I don't know that. There you go. I appreciate it, Lisa. Gosh, so many callers coming in here. All right, so let's talk about enhanced water. A lot of times vitamins are added to bottled water, and they advertise it, you know, enhanced water. We have this special stuff in there. Some brands add sugar. Some brands add artificial sweetener, both of which are bad. And many times, you got to be careful with any supplements, not just enhanced water, but you have to be careful with the fact that they may be using synthetic supplements. Because people say, well, Dr. Joe, I can get a calcium supplement at one of the big box stores and it's really cheap. Yeah, but it's probably going to be calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate can actually block up your receptor sites and prevent you from absorbing the good calcium, calcium citrate and calcium lactate. So synthetic supplements, not the same as regular supplements. Many times I'll see a study about a supplement and we know the supplement affects this condition. And then we see a study that says, well, a study was just done and it didn't work. So obviously all the other studies ever done in the history of mankind are wrong because my new study is right. And almost every time, if I can find the research, it's always that they're using synthetic version of the supplement, not the whole food supplement. That's why I recommend things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. We use non-synthetic supplements. And my grandfather, German immigrant, always taught me a lot of things, but one of the things he taught me was always buy the best, it's always cheaper. And boy, is that usually right. Very seldom have you ever bought something cheap and went, wow, I was happy with that t-shirt or that whatever. So yeah, getting the best. And it's just your life. And supplements are not expensive. That's the kicker here. Supplements are so inexpensive. We talked about nutritional yeast earlier. If you missed that, it's going to be on the website. The show will be on the website tomorrow, drjoe.com. Nutritional yeast for 4 cents a day. Statistically, you can reduce your risk of getting a cold and flu by 25%. Why wouldn't you be doing that? And it tastes great too. So even Super Greens and Essential Source, if you take a scoop of each, that's just over $2 a day. And it's pretty darn cheap for what you're getting. It's amazing. So that's why I always say always get the best supplements. You're always going to do better with it. So enhanced water, take a scoop of Super Greens, take a scoop of Essential Source, mix it together in your water. Now you've got super duper high energy. I don't know, I was going to say radioactive, but that's not the right word. Enhanced water right there. And boy, is that going to be great. And a whole lot cheaper than buying this stuff too. Let's see. Gosh, we're running out of time so quickly here. What else can we talk about here? All right. Coffee. A lot of people go out and spend some money on this fancy coffee, and they're thinking to themselves, well, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to get reduced fat milk in my latte. I'm going to reward myself. And then, because I did reduced fat milk, maybe I'll put some whipped cream on it. Bad idea. What happens is that trade out is about 580 calories, about 15 grams of saturated fats, and that's in a 20-ounce chocolate mocha. Was it? Yeah. So that's not anything you want to do. That's more calories in saturated fat than a quarter-pound burger with cheese. So don't fall for that junk there, folks. You can do mate. We talked about that. Herbal teas, much better choices than the coffees too. Folks, got to go to break. If you have a question, 844-44 Dr. Joe. If we don't get you on today, you can always go to my website, drjoe.com. We have tons of stuff there. Search your answer. You're probably going to get a really good answer there. Just put it in the search bar. We have well over 1,000 hours of audio and video podcast there. We have a blog there if you want to make an appointment to come see us. We would love to be your doctor. Stop suffering needlessly. Go to website, drjoe.com. You can set up an appointment right there. The supplements we talk about, the super greens, the essential source, the nitric oxide, the B complex, digestive enzymes, all of those and more are on the website, drjoe.com. You can order them right there. Or come by our offices. Save shipping. A lot easier. Hey, don't go anywhere. Tell your friends about the show. I'll be right back.
All right, we got some more good questions.
Last segment.
First, coconut oil. I've seen a lot of articles talking about how coconut oil can cause heart disease and it's bad for your health.
It's a saturated fat, but the way the chemical bond is, it's different than a meat saturated fat. It's loosely bond saturated fat. So I'm not buying it because I've read tons of articles showing that it's very good for you. Now, it's still a concentrated processed fat, so that's an issue. But I read that one article about the could cause heart disease. I have no idea where that came from.
People try to tell me that. I just say that it's plant-based, so it's better than animal fat.
Yes, exactly right.
When we come back, make sure to reference that the vitamin waters or vitamin-infused waters are the same. You're also talking about sports drinks.
Okay.
I just want to point out that someone called and wanted to know what's the youngest.
Oh, good question. Thank you. You rock, Rachel. Good.
Okay, and then we got some more deep thinking questions.
Same deep thinker?
Same deep thinker.
Come on, you got to save room for other people here.
He goes all out once he gets on a trend and just keeps going.
You'll have to help us pronounce your name, your Instagram account name.
Lavarius, I think.
Lavarius or Lavarius.
Okay.
Does blood type actually affect the ability to be vegan? I'm type A, vegan for 10 years after 5 years vegetarian, and it felt natural, while type O's claim to have a harder time getting vegan.
I'm not totally buying into the whole blood type thing. I mean, Dr. Diadamo, he wrote the book. He's a great man. I respect him tremendously, but I don't necessarily agree with the research that's out there. He got his research from his father, who got it from Dr. Kelly, who was a dentist, I think in the 30s, actually. And Dr. Kelly did the research on blood types, and he found, for example, type O's that can eat meat. What's the key word in that sentence? Can. Doesn't say should. It's like the Bible, page 1, Genesis 1:29. I give to you the fruits, the vegetables, and the herbs, and this shall be to you as food. Shall be. That's it. It's right there on page 1. But Dr. Kelly found that O's can eat small amounts of raw organic meat if they were sick. Big difference from I can eat meat. And the meat he was talking about, small amounts raw and organic. Now we have steroids, hormones, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified foods. It's not the same thing. So if you're going to eat meat, it's got to be organic. I don't think you should do it raw. I disagree with that. But I know a lot of people that are vegans and don't have any problem with it whatsoever. So I'm not necessarily buying into the whole concept. It's still a good diet. It's better than what most people are doing, but I'm not sure it's as specific as it claims to be.
And I love how they justify some of the data that they get. Because I've been doing a lot of research on ADHD, not only for myself, but for a show topic that we're thinking about. And there was this woman that did a TED Talk, and she was showing how ADHD is on a rise, and it's based on Tom Hanks' popularity. And she put both graphs up, and they lined up perfectly. But just because Tom Hanks is getting more popular doesn't mean we're having more ADHD.
Exactly.
It's like one doesn't equal the other.
Well, of course, yeah. That's when you can force anything to match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next question. Bodybuilders often drink at least a gallon of water a day. Question you may have already answered. Is it possible for athletes to drink too much water?
Absolutely, yes. You can definitely drink too much water and flush out your electrolytes. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, that happened to me when I was sick.
You drank too much water.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have enough electrolytes, so when I was drinking water, it was just making me sick.
Making it worse, flushing it out, So yeah, you can definitely drink too much water. What you want to do is your pee should be clear and shouldn't have any odor to it. And that's probably means you're getting enough water. Now, if you're getting too much, you start getting weak or dizzy, cut back on the water intake and see what happens.
Maybe when we do a show on...
He said he goes by Levi.
Levi?
Okay.
Perfect.
Hi, Levi.
Once we start putting together a show on how to break down how much fiber you should have, how much fruit, veggies, what a good ratio is, how many nuts throughout the day, we could add in there kind of water intake based on your weight and your size.
Yeah. And what's happening with Facebook and Instagram? Facebook and YouTube. They getting slack over here?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, we answered most everybody's questions.
There's a lot of viewers. They're just not very chatty tonight.
That's
Instagram's
okay, viewers.
Really chatty.
That's all right. It's funny. Some nights it's Facebook, sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it's Instagram. It's fine. You guys are all good.
We had another one of our loyal followers said, "Great stuff, you guys rock. Where were you all my life?"
Aw, how sweet. Isn't that nice? She's usually never single women that say that to me.
When it comes to ADHD, however, I was looking at something that was a doctor from the
here we go.
The 90s.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Feeling good and staying out of the doctor's office. Get stronger and healthier with Dr. Joe Esposito on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you spent a little time with us. We're talking today about fake health foods. And a lot of good questions coming in. We appreciate that. Some folks don't want to go on the air. We had one. What's the youngest you can take super greens and essential source? If you're eating solid foods, you can take it. An adult dose is a scoop of each. And of course, that's what I take, and most adults do. But with children, if they're eating solid foods, you can take maybe a quarter teaspoon. You don't have to put a lot in there. And mix it in. And just try just super greens. And then next day, try just, next meal, maybe try just essential source. Because with babies, when you start introducing foods, and I do a whole workshop on pediatrics, is you want to introduce one food at a time and see how they do with it. Because different people have different reactions. So try maybe a quarter teaspoon. Mix it up. You can mix it with applesauce, or if it's sweet, or you can do mashed potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes. See how they do with it, and then you can build it up from there. So maybe do a quarter teaspoon for a week. They're doing well. Then go to half a teaspoon. You can build it up from there. But as long as they're taking solid foods, perfectly fine with them taking super greens and essential source. And everybody, you got to make sure you're getting enough vitamin D. And I got to say this. And the reason I say this sometimes on a show, I may repeat myself, because people are switching on and off all the time. With radio and even on social media. And so I'll say something and then another group will come on, and so I want to make sure you get it. You want to get the average adult about 5,000 international units of vitamin D a day. Very, very important, especially in cold and flu season. So we have Dr. Joe's vitamin D with K2. And so I'd recommend you doing the vitamin D as well, because it's another important thing. So super greens and essential source, vitamin D. I take adrenal support every day. As I get older, my adrenal glands are getting weaker. I take nitric oxide for circulation. I take B complex. So I take supplements every day, and I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, it's great. It makes you feel better, makes you look younger, it makes your body work in much better ways than most people your age are working. I smile when I say that. So yeah, supplements are really important. And then you add chiropractic care to that, because if you have a pinched nerve, it can cause pain, but nerves also control organs. So if I have a pinched nerve to my liver, my spleen, my kidneys, my gallbladder, my prostate, those organs aren't going to be working at 100%. So with chiropractic, most people think about it for back pain, but a lot of people now, I've been in practice 34 years, a good portion of our practice is now wellness patients. They want to keep their nervous system working properly. They may not have a lot of pain, but get their nervous system working properly. And then if you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, you can actually adjust the stomach, or we can, pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. And I tell you what, when you fix somebody's digestive system, they want to name their kids after you, because it's pretty amazing. When the acid reflux and the burping goes away, you absorb your nutrients, your brain starts working. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, let's talk a little bit more about fake health foods. Breakfast muffins. This is one I just happened the other day, actually. A patient came in and said, well, Dr. Joe, I do a bran muffin every morning. Well, good. That's excellent. If you're doing bran, wheat bran has phytic acid in it, and phytic acid can bind to calcium and iron, and you don't absorb it as well. So you think you're giving yourself fiber, which you are, but it may not be the best thing. Muffins might beat donuts. maybe a little less sugar in there. But one store-bought muffin can have about 500 calories, 11 teaspoons of sugar. That's the maximum amount of sugar you should have as a male in a day. 11 teaspoons. That's about what's in a can of soda, 9 to 11 teaspoons in a can of soda. So it's just about the same as a can of soda. So why would you want to do that? And what happens is sugar stimulates a part of your brain called the nucleus accumbens. And when the nucleus accumbens is stimulated, you start to release dopamine. It's where the dopamine receptor sites are. And you get high. Anybody do this? You have sugar, and what's the next thing you want? Sugar. And then you want more sugar. Because once the nucleus accumbens is stimulated and the dopamine receptor sites start firing off, you want to get high again. And that's why it's so hard to eat a cookie. You can eat a box of cookies. That's pretty easy. But eating one cookie is pretty hard. So you got to be careful with that sugar in there, and something like a muffin can really get you. And just because it has fiber in there, you can get fiber from eating broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, salad, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. Those are all great sources of fiber. And that would be a better choice. Now at the break, Garrett and Sierra and I were talking about granola. And Garrett, you want to fess up? You want to? This is confession time.
I love the chocolate granolas, the sugary granolas, every time. And Sierra has to literally slap my hands. Or if I try, I'll sneak a bag in underneath something healthy in the cart until we get to the checkout. And then I get it a little worse.
Then she smacks you good. Well, you deserve it. I'm just telling you. I'm on her side on this one here, yeah. So you're thinking granola, that must be healthy. It's probably good for me. Not really. Doesn't have to be. Now, you can make your own granola. Boy, aren't we going back to hippie world here. But you can do something called muesli. You know what muesli is? This is big in Europe. It's oatmeal, rolled oats, with some nuts and some dried fruit in there, and it's a cereal. It's called muesli. You don't have to cook oatmeal, by the way. Rolled oats is already cooked, just so I don't know if you knew that, not steamed and then flattened out. But you can do rolled oats, and you can put some nuts in there, and you can put some maybe some raisins or some cranberries, organic, of course, without sulfites in them, some other dried fruit. And if you want to get really crazy, you can actually toast the oats, and then you can make that crunchy granola and add a little bit of oil to it, but not a lot. A little bit of coconut oil is probably good for you there, but not a lot. So once again, granola, hey, that's got to be healthy for me. How about yogurt? Low-fat yogurt, superstar, rich in protein, high in calcium. Oh my gosh, it's so good for me. Some brands add 30 or more grams of fructose, sucrose, or other sweeteners to it. That's more than you should probably have in a day right there. And milk itself, by the way, has something in it called lactose. And lactose is a sweetener. It's a sugar. And so people say, I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm going to do milk without lactose in it. How about that's nature telling you shouldn't do milk? And you can do almond milk, coconut milk, hemp milk, chia seed milk. There's milk all over the place. You don't have to do cow's milk. I haven't had any animal products, including cow's milk, in over 32 years now. You can do it, folks. It's not hard. It's actually pretty easy. So almost out of time. If you want to catch this show and 1,000 hours of other shows, go to my website, drjoe.com. We have audios, we have videos there. You can download them on SoundCloud if you want. The supplements we talked about, minimum amount of nutrients you should be taking every day is Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. You're going to be like everybody else once you start taking it and say, why didn't I do this sooner? And by the way, if you pre-order it, put it on automatic reorder, you save some money as well. If you want to come by our offices, we have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. It'll save you some shipping. That's not a bad thing for you either. And we'd love to see you too. And if you want to make an appointment to come see us, I think you should. Because most people are very, very happy when they make the decision to finally start getting well. We want to get your nervous system working. We want to get your digestive system working. We want to get you on a good diet. All our patients that come in, part of their treatment plan, we go over their diet with them. And we give them some recommendations on what to eat, what not to eat. But we start out just about everyone with Super Greens and Essential Source. And that's the starting point. And then the vitamin D, please, I'm begging you, if you're not doing your vitamin D, especially in the winter months, please do that, folks. It's really important for you, your friends, and your family. Hey, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, the website, drjoe.com. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.
You experiencing hot flashes?
All right, we got 2 more questions, if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead. We'll wrap it up.
Does Dr. Joe recommend taking a potassium supplement?
No. You don't really. Most people don't need potassium supplement. Now, if you're low on it, yes, but as a general rule, no.
So rather fix your diet than your...
Yes, exactly. Okay. Now, if you're low on it, maybe then yes.
Back to too much nutritional yeast. Can I have too much vitamin B?
Most vitamin B, you're just going to pee it out. You're going to have to take a heck of a lot of vitamin B to have any reaction to it. So as long as you're reasonable and not taking a bottle full of it, you should be fine.
And before we go, guys, I just wanted to mention, through these winter months, we're doing a winter bundle. Get the seasonal tonic and the wellness booster in a package deal, and you save 20%.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah, we didn't mention that today, did we? So, all right, folks. Again, thanks so much. Thanks for telling your friends. We're growing like crazy. I think we're the fastest growing wellness show in the country right now on social media. We may be #1 actually on social media. That's what I've heard. So, thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends about the show, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care, guys.